March 4th, 1991, the greatest president in American history was inaugurated, John Adams. And here is why he's the greatest president right after this break.
Who's that?
President! He was a big part in the Roaring Twenties, and he was famous for doing nothing. It's Calvin Coolidge! John Adams' first year was very quickly filled out with foreign policy, including involvement in the French and British War currently happening at the time. During Washington's presidency, he successfully narrowly escaped involvement in the war, but with tensions rising, Adams was obligated to do something. Adams sent over a delegation to France to have a 15-minute meeting, after a few days of waiting, with the French Foreign Minister Talleyrand. The conversation ended with France telling Adams' delegates they would need to pay massive bribes in order to discuss diplomatic negotiations. The United States refused to pay the bribes, which means France refused to talk foreign negotiations with the United States. When Adams talked about what happened, the public gained a spark of hatred toward the French. The Democratic Republicans were worried about the English-American alliance, and the Federalists feared the influence of radical French revolutionaries reaching overseas. Along with economic issues, this led Federalists and Democratic Republicans into even more division than they were previously. John Adams' decision of the matter wasn't to join an alliance with the British, but rather harass French ships in the Caribbean. This started an undeclared naval war, aka the Quasi-War. This war against the French increased Adams' popularity amongst the public. With this undeclared war, Adams was able to make the army bigger and stronger, along with the Navy, with Congress allowing a new department being made, the Department of Navy. The war led to huge American victories against the French, like the capture of a powerful French warship which gained Adams' popularity from this huge victory. Eventually, the French coup of 1799 happened, and Napoleon and Adams finally negotiated a treaty which would end the undeclared war and remove all past agreements between the French and Americans. What Adams did was solve a problem from the past presidency. He sacrificed the chance at his second term to help the nation economically by putting us on good trade terms with the French and the rest of Europe, and socially by uniting the country politically. This is the type of president we would need today. A man who can unite the country and do what's best for the country without thinking about himself first.
Who's that?
President! He did the internment of the Japanese and started a timeline which would lead to the bombing of Japan past his death? It's Franklin D. Roosevelt! Adams, diplomatically, was also amazing. During the Quasi-War, the government needed a way to get more money, so Adams issued a very unpopular property tax up to 1% of land value. This resulted in the Fries Rebellion. The Fries Rebellion protested the taxes as they were scared it would negatively affect their Republican liberties and churches. Alexander Hamilton brought down the military to them and ended the rebellion, which brought the protesters to death row for treason. Now, this may all seem like a bad thing, but no. Adams' kind soul decided to pardon the protesters. This shows Adams is a man for the First Amendment and the man of principle. This is why Adams is the best U.S. president in history. He led the nation to greatness by protecting people's rights and protecting the fragile nation from war while keeping our chins up to bigger nations. He sacrificed a chance at re-election for the better of the nation, as well as the nation kept calm, a sign of true leadership and a sign of a great president. President! He praised the Confederacy and the KKK and established the Federal Reserve. It's President Woodrow Wilson!